Okay, I just finished this propane tank wood stove for a guy, and he had a specific request, so I wanted to show you guys how I did this one. He wants it for a camper, and he wanted it to be a specific height, even though he wanted to go with the 20-gallon propane bottle size. So what I've done to address that subject first was I've made a stand, and I've made a stand out of the handle off another propane tank. And this is very sturdy. You can barely shake this, and there's no mounting. It just fits right in there, like so. Perfect, perfectly flush. And you, the the first thing you got to do is procure old propane tanks. You can at your local scrapyard if they're cool about it. A lot of scrapyards are. You might be able to get them for what, $5 a piece. Make sure they're completely emptied. You can see many videos how to do this, including videos I've done myself on my Slipstream Wash channel. Uh, Make sure it's completely empty, and you want to devalve it. You can see my own devalving video. Uh, there's many different ways to do this. Take my word for it. I've built maybe 50 of these propane tank stoves, and the easiest way to do it is to get a cold chisel and a good ball peen hammer and just go counterclockwise and just whack it, whack it, whack it, whack it right out of there. After you purge the tank, do this at your own risk. Be very careful. When you get it all out, there's always going to be residual gas in there because propane's heavier than air. So you got to get that out, and you're going to have to drive it out. I would recommend filling it all the way to the top with your garden hose, literally all the way to the top 3 times to get it out. Or you can use an air compressor, but you're going to have to really blast some air in there to get it out. You'll know when you got it all out because it's going to stop stinking. Propane doesn't actually have a scent. They add a scent to it so you know if there's a gas leak. But let's go into the stove. So I did the valve stem removal. All my stoves are completely recycled parts. That's the whole point of my channel. There's absolutely no welding on here. All this is a hand drill and an angle grinder, and that's it. So after I removed the valve stem, I cut this hole bigger to match this 1.5 inch pipe flange, black pipe flange. 1.5 inch. And the reason I'm going with black pipe is this is the perfect size for your overfire exhaust, and you're never going to burn this out. No draft required. Damper draft up here, not required because you already got the draft set. And instead of an underfire damper control, I've gone to a preset number of holes, and these number of holes match the size of the underfire damper I was going to use anyway, so this will just be set, and you never have to worry about hots or sparks coming out of these holes out onto the floor, because a wood stove by its very nature in this configuration is under negative pressure. In other words, it's pulling in oxygen here and combustion air is exiting here. That's what they mean by overfire, underfire. Some people don't get that. So the whole tank, I've just cut the handle off. I've ground everything off. There were some labels on here. I ground those all off. I painted the whole tank in high temp stove black, available at your local hardware store. Let's go into the door, and I've done other videos showing how to do this. I'll do it again. This is just a simple heavy duty door hinge like on your house. Now see these little spacers in here? I've used 3 washers of spacers on each of these bolts. You need to do that so the door will close evenly. See how tight that door is? You don't want smoke leaking out. And this door is actually cut from another tank, and I'll show you why. Because you want that door to be a little bit bigger than your opening for wood so that no smoke leaks out. Very important to get that as tight as possible. See how nice that is? This latch I just cut from scrap metal. I've added a spring so it doesn't get hot when I open and close it. This door latch here I've made from old curtain parts, but I've made many of these on my own just by bending steel and drilling it in an L configuration, so it'll clasp that latch tight like that, hold nice and tight. Now, I've gone into this before on videos that if you cut a door from this part of the tank, see this main weld, this is how they build this tank. So there's a main weld that goes 360 degrees around this tank. It's very heavy duty, and if you cut through that to make a door, you need to grind that off or you're going to have that weld on your door. It's not going to want to shut properly. You can have it here